Use the raise hand function once complete with in-person questions, and as time allows, you'll be directed to unmute yourself in order to ask your question. Welcome to Notre Dame's postgame press conference for the 2022 NCAA March Madness second round. We're joined by Fighting Irish head coach Neil Ivey, student athletes Dara Mabry, and Olivia Miles. Fighting Irish head coach Neil Ivey will give a brief opening statement before the student athletes receive questions. Following our student athlete availability, we will open the coach portion of the press conference.
Well, I honestly don't have any words. This is something that I've prayed about. It's something I knew could come to life, and I'm so over the moon. I mean, I'm so proud of this team. I'm so proud of our journey. I'm so proud to see where we've come since last season. We worked so hard in the summertime, preseason, to get to this point. We've had a lot of highs, a lot of lows this season, and it's just incredible for me to see them blossom in front of my eyes. It was extremely hard reading. We knew that coming in, how tough this was going to be, and for us to be a really great team on their home court is just, I mean, it's amazing. I'm so proud of them, and I'm just excited to continue dancing.
First question for the student athletes. We'll go on the left here.
Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoma. Either of you can answer this. Obviously, your size inside, they really had to pay attention extra. How much do you guys feel like that opened up what you guys were able to do on perimeter?
Well, I can go first on this one. I feel like in transition, they kind of sprinted to the paint, so that's why I was finding Darren, finding Sonia and Maddie. So I feel like when we pushed in transition and I was able to see the floor, we were able to spread them out and just get people looks because we were hitting shots. So I just kept hitting the hot hand.
Yeah. I think Maya's presence is just so dominant, even when she doesn't have the ball in her hands. You have to start shifting when she catches the ball because she's quite like unguardable sometimes. So that forces help. And then, of course, we have Olivia as our point guard. So it's just made shots, makes it easier with the bigs down there.
Next question will be on the right side in the second row on the far end.
Tyler Luca came to you, Hoops. There for you first, and then Olivia after. When you start a game shooting like that, when you're just on fire, what type of feelings does that kind of bring to you? Like, how are you feeling in that moment? And then Olivia, for you, what does that do for your team as a whole? And like for you as a point guard, facilitating those type of shots, how does that kind of change your emotions as a team?
To be honest, like when you shoot like that, like I felt like I was unconscious. Therefore, like at one point I wasn't thinking. I just knew when I caught it, I was gonna let it go, and it was going in. And when you, as a shooter, when you believe in yourself like that, you believe I'm gonna make it. It's going in. Chances are it's gonna go in. And I think, like me and Olivia talked about this. That type of confidence spreads really easily, like wildfire. It's positive energy, confidence, and just. Our team is maturing, therefore it's easier to spread that confidence when you're confident as a leader. And I think that they did exactly that. I hit those shots, but then everybody started scoring.
Yeah, I mean, I literally talked to Dara like an hour or two before the game, and I was like, because she came out and hit 2 threes against UMass, and it gave us all confidence. But I told her, I was like, you coming out and hitting those 2 shots just relieves so much pressure for the rest of us, and just allows me to get in my game by getting a couple assists or running the floor, and it just gives confidence to everyone. So starting off strong has been something we've been working on, and so good to see that it's coming out on the court.
We'll stay on the right side and go to the far back row.
Yeah, Cliff Brunt, Associated Press. Olivia, you can answer this first. So what we saw out there is something that Oklahoma has done to teams all season, basically running them out and just beating them in transition and getting buckets. You guys were pretty confident that you could run with them. What did you see that made you confident that you could do it, and how do you feel about the way you guys executed that?
Well, I could use my last answer. Basically just, starting off as strong as we did. When we get out in transition one play, the first play of the game, and Dara hits a 3, we're like, okay, we can do this every time. So, our biggest focal point was getting back in transition, and we got the stops we needed, so we were then able to run out and find gaps and, space the floor like we were talking about before.
Yeah, exactly what she said. We know we want to run. We get our transition buckets every game, but the key thing was to stop them in transition and to find shooters, and we did that. And we started capitalizing off those stops, which was great.
Any additional in-person student-athlete questions? We will go to Zoom. We'll start with Anthony Anderson.
Congratulations, ladies. Dara, you tied Marina's record for 3-pointers in a game with 7 in the tournament. Have you heard from her yet already? And is it kind of cool that you tied her, or being a competitive Mabry, do you wish you had hit 8?
No, she just is always reminding me, be confident, but you're not better than me, like in a sister type way. I don't know what time it is over there in Australia, but she always wakes up no matter what time it is over there, and she watches all my games. Her and Jackie Young. So I'm sure I'll have some messages from her after the game. But Marina, if you hear this, I'm gonna break your record at some point.
Next question will be Tyler Horka via Zoom.
Yeah, sticking with Dara, speaking of your sister, she tweeted and asked what you had for breakfast this morning because she wants some of that herself. So if you could give us your secret sauce there, that'd be awesome. But on a more serious note, you said on the broadcast after the game that you guys came out dripping in confidence. I just wonder how you guys go about that as a team, bringing that into the game, because it really looked like from the start in the past 2 games that you guys were just playing on another level mentally.
Yeah, that comes from our coaches, and then it comes from each other. So not only do we have that chemistry within the players, but it starts with the coaching staff. They install the most confidence in us. And, it's hard playing at this level, and it's a battle out there. But when you have teammates that believe in you, sometimes you're going to be unstoppable. At the end of the day, it's bigger than the ball going in the hoop. So, yeah.
We'll continue with Zoom. Randall Grimm.
This is Randall again with Nuts and Bolts Sports. Thanks for taking the questions, ladies, and congratulations. I wanted to ask about your confidence level and how you follow that line between confidence and overconfidence, and how respect plays into that. It seems like you're a very respectful group and you appreciate your opponents. Can you speak on that and how you kind of speak on that as a team?
First off, thank you. And then second off, I feel like there were times where we were, taking too many shots because we were so overly confident, which isn't a bad thing. But like Derek said, our coaches do a really good job of just bringing us back together, reining us in. Not telling us to not be confident, but just telling us that we need to stick to the game plan and just, work within what they give us, because that gives us the most confidence, to score easy buckets or just to get us back on track. So I wouldn't say we have overconfidence. I just say we're so confident in ourselves that we take the shots that we know we can make. But sometimes there are moments where we do rein it back in, and I think it's important with every team.
We'll continue with Zoom. Eric Hansen.
Hi, this question's for Olivia. You guys were going against the 3rd best scoring team in the country, and although you scored 108 yourself, it seemed like early on you had a really good game plan to take some things away from them. Can you speak to that game plan and how it was executed?
Yeah, I think we executed perfectly, except for what I just said. Sometimes we were a little bit too confident shooting a bunch of threes, but once we reined it back in and we got our looks, we were playing with so much confidence and so much pace, and that was another main focal point, just pushing the ball, because we know that no one in the country can run with us, and once we do that, we're unstoppable.
That concludes our student athlete portion. Dara and Olivia, you are now dismissed.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach. We'll start on the front left here.
Hey, Coach, similar to what I asked your players about, your length. I'm sure you looked at them, you looked at your team.
We really attacked in the beginning. We locked in defensively. They stuck to the game plan. It was a really great game plan by Coquise Washington. She prepared us. And yeah, I was just really impressed by the way we started. I knew going into the game that we had a size advantage. We played against DePaul this season that was very similar to Oklahoma, so we knew what worked then. So I think that really helped us prepare. They play 4 guards, and so I kind of adjusted my lineup to that. And just we've been working on trying to set the tone, and we did that this past weekend. I'm really, really happy with the growth of that.
We'll go to the right side, third row, first chair.
Hi, Coach Eric Bailey with the Tulsa World. I wanted to ask you, you've been through this. You've seen Jenny Browncheck in her first year as a head coach and how she was able to build her culture, develop the team, turn things around. Just your thoughts on the job that she's done, and how much did you see a little bit of what she did and what you did at Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, she's a phenomenal coach. I think she's an incredible hire. She's all about culture at Drake. I just think that she carried that over. She's got a great offense. Her team plays with fire and passion. You could see that. I saw that a lot seeing them in person. And I mean, it's taken over after a storied legend here. And I just think she's done a phenomenal job, and she's going to continue. She's a star, so she's going to continue to help this program and continue to keep this program rising.
We'll continue on the right side in the back row, second chair.
Yeah, Cliff Brunt, Associated Press. Obviously, Purdue won yesterday. You got your win tonight. What does it mean to you to be at this point as a coach and as a mom?
It's so special. But I was so excited last night. First of all, my stress is as a mom. Like today, I was relaxed. Last night, I was stressed. So I was just so happy that he's living out his dreams. I'm living out my dreams, and to watch him help his team get to the Sweet 16 was just so special for me. It's hard not being there, but he knows that I have a job to do as well. Had a FaceTime with him earlier, right before the game, so we're there for each other in spirit. But yeah, I mean, it's a special bond. It's a special, unique situation. We're both living out our dreams, and I'm super blessed. I feel blessed to be in this position, and I just feel like God has his favor on both Jaden and I.
We'll continue on the right side, second row, first chair.
Nadja Woods, ABC 57 News, South Bend. First off, congrats, Coach. I mean, you guys pulled off 2 big wins in the first round, the second round, and you punched your ticket to the Sweet 16. How are you looking to prepare? I mean, you guys the fight is far from over.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to embrace this and celebrate this for at least the next 48 hours. So we're going to rest up, get back tonight. And then, I didn't see who won. I didn't get a chance to see any scores. But then I'm going to divide, the scout amongst the coaches, get back to work on Wednesday with film. A lot of recovery, again, because we have shorter roster. So I got banged up a little bit this past weekend. But rest is huge for us. And my performance team has done a great job of keeping us prepared and ready all season with a shorter roster. So, again, we're going to enjoy this. We're going to celebrate it and then focus on the next one and focus on the next 40 minutes. We are one half at a time, 40 minutes at a time. But yeah, for us, this is my first time as head coach. It's this group's first time together. So I'm going to allow them we have to really, celebrate the victories, the small victories, and really embrace where we are and stay present, but also, get locked in to prepare.
We'll continue on the right side in the second row and go to the fourth chair.
Tyler DeLuca, Game Day U Hoops. First off, congrats, Coach. Big win. But you talked yesterday about how difficult this Oklahoma offense is to defend because of the amount of movement, the amount of reads. Can you kind of talk? Obviously, you guys devised a good game plan, but executing it is a completely another thing. Can you kind of talk about your team's ability to switch on the ball and things of that nature, and how they went out there and actually executed that game plan that you guys devised?
Yeah, for sure. We really, I focused on transition defense because they're number one in pace, and then focused on really knowing where their shooters were and really locking in, defending the three-point line. They averaged 9 threes a game, so that was the game plan. And then I kind of talked to them about, playing Oklahoma on their home court, our defensive energy has to shift. We had to take it to another level. We're normally a 2-3 zone team, but tonight we played all man-to-man. We had to adjust to our opponent, and I thought that they rose to that challenge because I told them it's going to be challenging. This is a high-octane offense type team. They play well. They move. They know each other really well. So the fact that they responded and came out with a really great defensive intensity that we kind of spoke on, and I'm super proud. That's a lot of growth for this group. We've gotten a lot better in the last couple weeks, but they understand. This desperation, you have to bring the defensive intensity to be able to advance in this tournament, and they did. So I'm proud of them for that.
Any additional in-person questions for Coach? We'll go to the first row on the right side, third chair.
Nick Coppola, OU Daily. Of course, one of your assistants, Coquise Washington, was at OU before she came to you, and just she got to coach a lot of those players that you got to go up against tonight, like Maddie and Taylor and everyone else. Just what does she tell you about those players like Maddie and Taylor, and what did she just tell you about OU in general coming into this game?
Yeah, I think she did a phenomenal job of preparing us. Yeah, she just spoke so highly of both of them. That's all we talked about. You know, it's a high character, young women off the court, and they're ballers on the court. She's just like, they're ballers, as Coquise says always. So she really gave us the tendencies of who they are as people and who they are as players. And she just talked about how much they've improved and how they work really well off of each other. It's a different system, so it's a different system that Coach Cole ran, but still she talked about what they're capable of doing as far as taking over games. And so, yeah, I mean, it was really helpful to have her. And Coquise has a lot of wisdom. She was my position coach. She's coached, been a head coach. And so, I'm blessed and fortunate that I had the opportunity to bring her back home to Notre Dame. But, yeah, she spoke really highly of both of them.
Any additional questions in person? We'll go to Zoom, and we'll start with JJ Post.
JJ Post, The Observer. First of all, Coach, congrats. You mentioned at the last game in the press conference, kind of the difficulty you'd face playing Oklahoma in Oklahoma's environment, and you got the best start you probably could have asked for, coming out of the gates with, shooting hot from three, establishing it down low. What did you tell the team before the game that were able to come in, lock out the crowd and, get off and play their game from the start?
Yeah, well, I talked with a lot of passion and energy before the game as far as just keeping them locked in, focused, try to build up confidence when in the group with my, just talking to them, preparing film. It was just, we had a lot of energy coming in the entire program. Everybody that's here, we were really excited, and I felt like being on somebody's home court, you have to bring the energy yourself because I didn't know how the crowd was going to be. I knew that it was super electric in here from watching the IUPUI Oklahoma matchup on Saturday. So we just talked about, we got to bring the energy. It's just us. It's us against the world. And I thought that really helped, I guess, just with our group being locked in and really bringing the energy. So that's really how we started. And then, again, Dara really got us going from the beginning as far as her three-point shooting. We got the stops and got out and ran. And then when we went up big numbers, I felt like we just continued to push.
We'll continue with Zoom. Tyler Horka.
Yeah, Neil, at the beginning here, you said that you're kind of speechless and a loss of words for how well your team played. But I'm going to ask you for some words here. What is it like when your team, you're talking about transition, you're talking about locking down defensively. What's it like when you see all of those things come to fruition as well as they did? And have you ever felt that, especially as a head coach, have you felt it like you did tonight?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I have not. I mean, this is something you wish for, you pray for. We haven't had a game yet where we were really good on both sides of the ball, like the entire game, as far as running. Our offense was exactly how I envisioned it, as far as our pace, and we shot the ball well. We did a great job of shot selection, going inside out. We established inside game. We ran, and then defensively, our level raised. We raised our level against a really great offensive team. So that was my first time also as head coach seeing so much balance on both sides of the ball. Anea Peoples did an incredible job, and so did Abby Braska. They didn't have double-digit scoring, but they did a lot of things defensively that really helped us. So just having an overall great team effort. I thought everybody played well, and that was I felt like that was our first time to have that in 40 minutes. We've had great, halves, great quarters, but we dominated for 4 quarters, and that was the first time we've done that this season, and that was awesome. It's awesome to be a part of, and I'm super proud of the maturation process of this team.
Thank you, Coach. That concludes Notre Dame's availability.
Thanks.
Jenny Baranchek and student athletes Taylor Robertson and Maddie Williams. Oklahoma head coach Jenny Baranchek will give a brief opening statement before the student athletes receive questions. Following our student athlete availability, we will open the coach portion of the press conference.
Well, I thought Notre Dame was phenomenal, and if they can continue to do that, watch out, everybody. And we needed to be better, and we weren't, and that's on us as a coaching staff for not having us ready. And I think we've had incredible moments of learning this year that's going to propel us into an off season. And I'm still really proud of these women, and I'm really proud that I get to coach them.
First question for Jenny. We'll go just left side first, chair.
Hey, Maddie, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Obviously, Mabry hits a bunch of threes, but their length inside forced you guys to really pay attention to what they were doing in the paint. How much of a factor was that to maybe get Mabry going? Just what the problems they presented inside for you guys with their length.
On offense or defense? Or
you guys were on defense.
Yeah, I mean it was tough. She started off hitting early, and so but she's also one that we were supposed to just find the whole entire game. That we were supposed to keep an eye on the whole entire game. So even if she wasn't hitting, I guess their length was not really an issue. They were hitting on in the outside, and I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know.
We'll stay on the left side and go to the second chair.
Joey Helmer, OUinsider.com for Taylor and then Maddie. It just seemed like after the beginning of the game, they kind of made a run and you guys were just fighting an uphill battle. Just how frustrating was it that they make a run and you guys just were kind of fighting uphill the entire time?
Yeah, we were. We got lost in transition on number one. She's a really good shooter, and we really needed to key in on her and not let her get open looks. And then after that started happening, we were down quite a few, and then it was just uphill from there and just trying to find a way to get back into it. And we really wanted to try to give ourselves a chance and get the crowd into it since we had a good crowd, and we weren't really able to do that.
Ryan Aber from the Oklahoman. I guess first for Taylor and then Maddie. Taylor, you talked about it right there, but when they get off to that run like that, how difficult is it on the offensive end not to try to make up all 20 points that you were down during that stretch up at once, and then it just seemed to speed things up a little bit for y'all?
Yeah, I think sometimes when we get down by that much, we do try to get it all back at once, and then that kind of causes bad things for us to happen, and then we might dwell on that, and then another bad thing happens, and it kind of snowballed for us a little bit, and we could have done a better job in response to that.
Yeah, it's been kind of tough for us all year to kind of not try to win the game back in one quarter, one possession, and I think that's something that we'll get better at. As time goes, we got the off season to work on that, to work on just getting better. Yeah.
We'll continue on the right side in the front row. We'll go to the second chair.
James Hale, CBS Sports Radio in Oklahoma City. Maddie, for you first, and then Taylor. You guys are such a great offensive team that I never think you're out of a game, but in this game, you just couldn't quite put it together. What was keeping you from, what happened that you just couldn't put together a great run to get back in this game? Because normally you guys can.
I don't know. I feel like maybe we just weren't as locked in together. I feel like we probably were locked in individually, but as a team, we couldn't figure out how to get connected enough to pull out a few runs this game.
In the first half, it felt like we had a lot of easy opportunities that we just missed, and that happens when you got to be able to play through it. But I think there was a lot of chances around the rim, and maybe it was their length that caused that, but some of them were open where we usually do hit those, and I think that was part of it.
We'll continue on the right side and Yep. Thank you.
Nick Coppola, OU Daily. First for Taylor and then Maddie. Despite this loss tonight, it was still a really good season for you guys. Both of you got your first Big 12 tournament win, your first NCAA tournament win. And took this program to the second round of this tournament for the first time in a few years. Just correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you guys are both planning on coming back next year. So just how does this season help in just building something and progressing on to the next season to where you guys want to be even better?
Yeah, this season's definitely something to build from. We did a lot of really great things this year, and now we know some things that we need to be better at or we can work on in the off season. And I think it was a good year, and it was really fun, and I can't wait to get back on the court next year.
Yeah, I mean, we've got all the same pieces coming back, so we'll just build on what we started this year, and we'll come back harder.
Next question, we'll continue on the right side, second row, third chair.
Hey guys, Grace Brigette, OU Nightly. A lot of emotions going on right now. It's been a phenomenal season for you guys. What do you have to say for your coach right now?
You can go first.
I'm just really grateful that Jenny came in and that we decided to stay and see what she was like. She came in and she was a really great experience. She was patient with us, and she kept us around. And she didn't have to do that, so it's just been great.
She's really fun to play for. I know I'll be happy to be able to come back and play for her one more year.
Any additional questions for our student athletes? Thank you, Maddie and Taylor. You're now dismissed. We'll start on the left side, first chair.
Hey, Jenny. Obviously, you guys have played teams with great height, and that's been something you've overcome on a repeated basis. But was theirs different? I mean, Dotson gets going early, then it opens up the outside. Did you feel like, I think Maddie said snowball, but did you think the length would be as much of an issue as it ended up being?
Well, I think just their balance today, offensively, I think puts a lot of pressure on you on the other end as well. And then I think we pressed a little bit, and we missed some shots that maybe we normally make. And I think, and they hit, they were phenomenal. And yes, do we need to defend better and not turn it over 100%? But you got to give credit where credit's due. When you got that kind of balance, there's a really hard way. It's really challenging because it's not, we are a team defensive team, and tonight we had to lock down one-on-one, and we didn't. And that's something that, we'll learn. We can learn to be able to do that, but you also have to give credit where credit's due. They picked us apart.
We'll continue on the left side, first row, second chair.
Joey Helmer, OUinsider.com. Jenny, obviously you'll reflect more at a later date, but you guys accomplished a lot this season. Just how would you evaluate the first season and kind of some of the things you guys were able to do?
Yeah, it might take some time to really be able to really answer that question, but the worst time to be in the locker room was on that last game like this, and it's also the best time. I really, really love and care about those women in that locker room. And I'm really proud of a lot that we've done throughout the year, and not just in the wins. We've had some really embarrassing losses. Unfortunately, this isn't our only one. But we always come back, and we always bounce back. And I'm really proud that these women continue to respond. They continue to be themselves. They continue to make people around them better. So from a reflection standpoint, I'm just really, really thankful and blessed that I get to coach them.
We'll continue on the right side, first row, first chair.
Yeah, Jenny, you talked about in the locker room after the game. I'm curious, after what happened in the first half, and
right.
Obviously the way that they took control. What was your message to them at halftime? At that point, when you still got 2 more quarters to go.
Yeah, you tried each quarter to say, okay, let's just reset it. And there were different strategies. There were times that, I probably yelled at them too much. There's times that I probably didn't yell at them enough, and then you try to steady them. I mean, we were rocked a little bit, obviously, a lot bit. And we were rocked from the beginning, and we just couldn't come back. So as much as I just said that we respond well, I don't know if we did today from that sense. But we tried to keep it as much strategy, but we definitely didn't, like Maddie said, we just didn't stay connected. We didn't play together as a team as well as we're capable of doing. And at this time of year, when you're on the home floor playing to go to the Sweet 16, there just can't be any gap in that. And there was tonight.
We'll go to the left side, second row, first chair.
Ryan Chapman, SI Sooners. Kind of expanding on what Ryan asked there. When you have that run right at the beginning of the game on your home floor, how hard is that just for the team to have the crowd there and then all of a sudden see that evaporate immediately?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was a huge challenge, and I think again we didn't respond. We missed a couple layups, and then obviously Mabry went off. I mean, she was incredible. I mean, she banked in a 3 coming off a ball screen. So it's not. There were sometimes we left her, and then there were sometimes she just hit some really tough shots. And again, they have some size inside, and we've talked about that. So we have to adjust in there. We don't have enough size just to combat one-on-one. So we had to try to help with that. But they hit a lot of threes, and now we can overcome 10 threes, but we didn't. 5 of those were in that first quarter, and we needed to adjust. So we did a better job there, but then gave up paint points. So it was kind of a catch-22 on some things. But I feel like they hit a lot of mid-range jumpers today too. And they're capable of doing that, obviously, but you got to give somewhere, and they made us pay.
We'll continue on the left side, second row, second chair.
Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. How instructive was this game for you moving forward? Is there things you can learn from it, or do you write it off as a bad day at Blackrock?
No, I don't think we can write it off. I think a big thing, this season has been interesting because we had a game like this at Kansas State. We had a game like this at Iowa State. So it's unfortunate that we've had a couple of these this year. Now you don't want to have it at home, and you don't want to have it in March. And so we do have to take some of that and learn from it. So we're not going to write it off. We're going to look in the mirror. We're going to be embarrassed. We're going to live with it. And we got to, put our boots on and roll up our sleeves and figure out how we're going to get better and be ready for those big moments next season.
Right side, third row, first chair.
Eric Bailey with the Tulsa World. This has been a proud and tradition-rich program. What's it been like for you since day one to really re-energize it and see where it's grown since you arrived on campus and setting the foundation for the future where this program in years to come can continue to flourish?
Well, this program is special, and in every, obviously, celebrating 20 years of the first Final Four, that's special, and you start to see what's happened in the last 20 years, and so to be able to be part of this program, I think, is huge. I don't think that I just came in and re-energized it. I think this team did, and I think these women really just made a decision to play together and do some really special things this year, and it's going to be hard to look at it right now because it didn't end in a great way. But there's always reasons that things happen, and so this happened for some reason, and it's going to propel us to be better, and it's going to propel us in the off season. It's going to propel us in the summer, but we will, and this program is going to go places. And I know a lot of people are keeping an eye on us, and our fans are, continuing to be so invested, and even in a game like this, and then they stay. They didn't have to stay at the end. They could have left, but they stayed. So you can just tell there's some things happening, and you can feel that there's some things happening. And I can promise you that we're going to continue to do whatever we can to represent not only this program or this university, but also this entire state.
We'll stay on the right side, second row, first chair.
Yeah, hey, Jenny. John Hoover, SI Sooners. 2 days after your season low in turnovers, I think you guys had a season high in turnovers.
We balanced it out, didn't we?
Yeah. How does that work out when you're also considering the fact that they were red hot shooting and you guys were a little bit cold, points in the paint, all that stuff?
Yeah, they were. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. No, I mean they were red hot shooting. We were missing some uncharacteristic shots, and then we were hesitant on our passes, and then we passed it to them. So we would have cutters open, and then we we were rattled. We were just off enough that we ended up passing to them and had obviously way too many live ball turnovers that turned into, I mean, that's the difference in the game. And so those are some things we'll have to really work on in the off season. But we did some uncharacteristic things. You know, we dribbled when we should pass. We passed when we should have shot it. We did a lot of that today. So we'll go back and look at that film. But part of it's being ready in the moment. And we didn't have us ready in the moment. So that's something as a coaching staff we'll look at, and we will figure out how to get us ready for those moments.
We'll continue on the right side, first row, second chair.
James Hale, CBS Sports Radio in Oklahoma City. Jenny, you've had such a great year, and I know this game is a disappointment. You're such a positive person. Are you going to have to, I hope you don't have to work, is what I'm trying to say, just to make sure this doesn't take over some of the bright spots you've had this year. I know you think about those things, so, talk about, what you'll start talking about tomorrow, even though this game was a disappointment for you.
We'll learn a lot about ourselves in the next 24 and 48 hours, and then we'll have a plan. So, and that's, I appreciate that. And that's that's probably the hard thing and the balance in coaching and loving this, being part of a team, because this is a team you don't want it to end. You want to keep coaching this team forever.
We have time for one last question. We'll go right side, third chair.
Nick Coppola, OU Daily. Same question I asked Taylor and Maddie. I'll ask it to you. Despite this loss, it was still a really good season. You guys made it, won a game in the Big 12 tournament, won a game in the NCAA tournament. For you, trying to build a culture here and get OU back to winning all the time in the tournament like they used to, just how does this season help with that? And what does it mean to have just players like Taylor, Maddie, and most of this team coming back for another year?
Yeah, I love that we have a lot of players coming back, right? I think that's really going to help us, and it's going to propel us. And I think like they both alluded to, a lot of the learning moments that we've had throughout the season. And we've gone from, we started to compete with Oregon, and in that game, all of a sudden we were like, oh my God, we're competing with Oregon, and then we didn't know what to do with it. And then we came back, and we had some games down, and we had some great comebacks here, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, okay, now we got to figure out how we're supposed to win the conference. And then we don't show up in a game, or the moment gets big. I shouldn't even say that we don't show up, but it doesn't feel like we showed up, right? And the moment gets kind of big. And then, so we've had just a lot of those learning moments of, that you usually get in it's a few years. And this all happened in one season. And so we had some incredible highs and then some incredible lows. And so you do try to manage all through that. But I think if we can learn some of that stuff, this program is going to go up a little bit faster than maybe we thought.
Thank you, Coach. That concludes Oklahoma's availability.
You guys, thank you. Thank you.
A recording of this press conference